Marjorie Taylor Greene was run out of town during her visit to Virginia's 5th Congressional District, and I'll play this for you. Entertaining as it gets, and then we'll talk about the reason I want to do the story so we can discuss the thing this is connected to. And it's a really interesting phenomenon playing out, why she's there, why she's endorsing Bob Good's challenger, and just sort of the MAGA infighting. And then we'll circle back, because here you might say she's being harassed, and we'll reflect on when she's done similar heckling of other people. But here is the moment that has gone viral of her being run out of town in, again, Virginia. Okay, so the last part I don't endorse, as y'all know. The vulgarity I am not for. But most of what I heard chanted was good. Meaning, no hate in our state was one chant I heard. I saw a sign that says, instead of make America great again, make authoritarians go away. And some good messages there, and great to see her again, not getting a warm reception there. And like I told you, we're going to circle back to this.
Want to talk to Crazy Ocasio? You come to this little thing and you open it up and you whisper
confession
into her.
Session.
This is confession.
Come closer. Okay. Every single week, millions of people watch the show who aren't subscribed to it. YouTube metrics tells us that's crazy town. So it breaks my heart if I think too long about it. If you're a regular viewer and you do like the show, makes a huge difference just to click that subscribe button and help us continue to grow.
This is Ocasio confession right there.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Every time. Ocasio? What? Oh gosh. The celebration of the lack of knowledge is stunning. But let's talk about this story first, the core part of this, which is, why is she in Virginia? Why is she in Virginia's 5th Congressional District, making an endorsement of a guy named John McGuire, who is a state senator and is trying to run against Republican Congressman Bob Good to represent Virginia's 5th? Well, the reason is that Bob Good dared to endorse Ron DeSantis or DeSanctis or DeSanctimonious or Meatball Ron or any of the terms that Trump referred to DeSantis as publicly or behind the scenes reportedly. And because Trump is so petty, even though Bob Good is now doing stuff like this for Trump.
President Trump, this is lawfare, again, to try to steal or to rig an election. You got a corrupt prosecutor, you got a corrupt star witness, you got a corrupt judge whose daughter is one of the leading fundraisers.
Right. And then going into the attacks against the judge's daughter that we've heard so many times. But the point is, he was a part of the crew that went there to publicly embarrass themselves in favor of Donald Trump, to show that they are willing to attack our justice system in favor of Trump just because he got himself into legal trouble. And they will not stand for legal accountability if it's Donald Trump. And so because Trump holds grudges, even though Bob Good is a MAGA guy, Trump is now trying to unseat Bob Good from this congressional seat to punish him for endorsing DeSantis during that Republican primary. Trump posted on Truth Social, Bob Good is bad for Virginia and bad for the USA, turned his back on our incredible movement, was constantly attacking and fighting me until recently, when he gave a warm and loving endorsement. But really, it was too late. The damage had been done. I just want to make America great again. And then he goes on to endorse the John McGuire candidate. And jumping over here to Virginia Mercury, the state and federal politicians have only interacted in recent months, but Greene said she trusts McGuire and hopes he'll become her future colleague in the U.S. House of Representatives. McGuire, a state senator and former state delegate, is challenging incumbent U.S. Representative Bob Good in a Republican primary for Virginia's 5th Congressional District. She told the crowd, referring to Marjorie, of about 50 in Louisa that she was impressed with McGuire's service as a state legislator, former Navy SEAL, and unwavering loyalty to the once and possibly future President Donald Trump. So we'll see how this plays out. But before getting to the Marjorie harassing people portion of this segment, I do want to add another layer to this story. So you have Bob Good, who's trying to be MAGA again, and he is not winning over Trump, so Trump's endorsing, so Marjorie's following Trump. And Marjorie and Trump are trying to get McGuire elected to punish Bob Good for endorsing DeSantis. But Matt Gaetz, a big Trump guy and a big MAGA guy, he is endorsing Bob Good. The Hill reports, Gaetz breaks from Trump with Bob Good endorsement. Representative Matt Gaetz on Tuesday threw his support behind House Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good, who faces a Trump-backed primary challenger in a closely watched contest this month. So that's sort of a little insight on what's going on in the MAGA world infighting edition. And we always love to see it, as I've told you before, because the more they're focused on clashing with each other, the more they're the less they're focusing on effectively challenging Democrats, specifically the key election in November. But I do think this is sort of inevitable when it comes to the way that the MAGA movement has turned the Republican Party into a personality cult. Because when it becomes that, then of course the top priority becomes you either have to be completely dedicated and loyal to the cult leader, or you'll get punished. And that's what we're seeing here. Instead of uniting a bunch of people who are already hardcore MAGA and now Trump supporting, like Bob Good, in going into this November election. But there always has to be further litmus tests and further proof of your loyalty to the leader, and it becomes actually an impediment to obviously serious governance, but also even just your electoral prospects. So that's what we're seeing playing out there in Virginia's 5th Congressional District. Interesting stuff. Now back to this. If Marjorie was offended by being heckled and harassed even, then she definitely doesn't want us to remind ourselves about these moments. This was before she was a congresswoman. If you're not familiar with this, this is how she became a figure in MAGA enough to become a congresswoman. Stuff like this.
Want to talk to Crazy Ocasio? You come to this little thing and you open it up and you whisper into her.
Session.
This is confession. This is Ocasio confession right there.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS because I'm a tax-paying citizen of the United States.
We know how taxes work.
I'm a woman, I'm a female business owner, and I'm proud to be an American woman. And I do not support your socialist policies, and I do not support your murderous abortion policies. As a mother of 3 children, I'm appalled at New York's law for abortion, and it needs to end, and it needs to stop now. You're bringing God's judgment on our country, and I'm against it, as well as my friends. So you need to stop being a baby and stop locking your door and come out and face the American citizens that you serve. If you want to be a big girl, you need to get rid of your diaper and come out and be able to talk to the American citizens instead of us having to use a flap, a little flap.
It's kind of like her. She's kind
Sad.
of she's like, she keeps flapping.
The epitome of class, right? Ugh. I know. I really do. I know we fortunately have to talk about MTG quite a lot with how prominent she's become in the MAGA movement, and that she is constantly causing herself to go viral and also represents sort of the broader movement. But I think it should continue to remind us and sort of wake people up to the fact that if we don't act in a pretty powerful way through these next important elections to oust from our political discussion by winning these extreme MAGA figures, then this is going to be what so many positions of power become used for. This type of ridiculous, stunt-oriented nonsense that we see from the likes of MTG. And remember, she's bossing around Mike Johnson on the regular. So the power she's wielding is real. And that's something the Republican Party should have to answer for. And then here's her harassing a mass shooting survivor, David Hogg, because he dared, based on that experience, to be extra motivated to try to regulate firearms.
David, why are you supporting the red flag laws? If Scott Peterson, the resource officer at Parkland, had done his job, then Nicholas Cruz wouldn't have killed anybody in your high school, or at least protected them. Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? And why are you using kids as a barrier? Do you not know how to defend your stance? Look, I'm an American citizen. I'm a gun owner. I have a concealed carry permit. I carry a gun for protection for myself, and you are using your...
Think about how wild that is. Walking up to someone who survived a mass shooting and being willing to heckle them, and then while you're doing so, making it known that you have a gun on you, I guess.
Your lobby and the money behind it and the kids to try to take away my Second Amendment rights. You don't have anything to say for yourself?
All right, you get the point. And it goes on for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, likely longer. So she can't complain about being heckled out of town because this is the behavior we're aware of with her. And this is how she even got prominent enough. It was content, if you want to call it that, like this, that was the jumping off point for running for Congress and inflicting herself onto America for the time that we've now had to experience her. Let me know what you think of the interesting little MAGA feud going on. Bob Good, Matt Gaetz, all that. And then also about MTG's nonsense in the comments. And if you want to get the daily bonus show, you can do so by clicking the join button below.